This week, a bipartisan group of lawmakers introduced a Railway Safety Act. It is designed to stop future disasters by enhancing safety requirements for trains transporting hazardous materials through inspections and regulations. I'm joined now by one of the sponsors of that legislation, Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey. Welcome to you, sir. It is good to see you. Can you just tell us what kind of safety enhancements are you looking for?
Yes, Symone, thank you for having me on to talk about this bill and the significance of this bill in terms of the political dynamic is it is bipartisan. We have Senator Brown from Ohio, Senator Vance, as well as Senator Fetterman and a few others to make it bipartisan. But we have to make sure that the safety requirements apply to the transportation of hazardous materials, just like it would for a higher standard of materials that would be transported. So this bill will require the Department of Transportation to issue new regulations to bring about that safety. But the other provisions speak to safety of the transportation of these chemicals, but also with more inspections, more audits of these companies, and very tough penalties, like multi-million-dollar penalties instead of tens of thousands.
Affecting the pockets. So what are your Senate colleagues saying about the bill, sir? Has Majority Leader Schumer given you any assurances that it will make it to the floor and a timeline for doing that?
He's been very supportive, and I think it's significant, as I said, that you have Democrats and Republicans supporting it when it's being introduced. We have to obviously go through a committee process, but we've got to undertake every effort to expedite this, because as much as we have work to do to help the people of East Palestine, as well as the people of Darlington on the Pennsylvania side, and to help these communities not just over days or weeks, and to hold Norfolk Southern accountable, fully accountable, we have to make sure this doesn't happen again. So this bill is really an effort to prevent this from happening ever again.
I recently spoke with Ohio Congresswoman Emilia Sykes, who said that pollution knows no boundaries. And I thought that was profound and eerily correct. So what are your top concerns for your constituents as it relates to the derailment?
Well, some of those same concerns that were voiced by the residents of Ohio that were talking on the earlier part of the segment, they're worried about their air and their water and their quality of life. The federal government and both state governments have to address that. I don't think a lot of people are just going to take the word of one government agency and walk away and say everything's fine. There has to be constant testing and monitoring. And also people want full accountability for Norfolk Southern in the event there's a determination of fault here. But there's no question about it that Norfolk Southern has to remain committed fully to the people of Ohio and Pennsylvania for years, not just for a few months.
This is something that will not be fixed overnight. I want to switch gears, Senator. This week, President Biden said that he would sign a Republican-led resolution that blocks changes to Washington, D.C.'s criminal sentencing laws. It was something he specifically said he would not veto, and then he said, not only will I not veto it, I will sign it. This is the first time Congress would overturn a local D.C. law. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser does not support the changes to the criminal code that this resolution addresses, but she also does not support Congress overriding local laws. Here's what she told Chuck Todd this week on Meet the Press Now. I want to play this for you.
I have been on the side of making sure that we have a fair system, but also a system that holds people accountable who've committed crime. I will never say that we want the Congress meddling in the affairs of the District of Columbia. That's a slippery slope, again, that we endure.
Senator, you are one of a number of Senate Democrats that supported the resolution to block changes to the D.C. law. I think that there are folks out there that want to know why. And then also, lots of talk about crime nowadays, rightfully so, but what does addressing crime mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, we have to be focused on public safety, no matter where it is, no matter what jurisdiction you're talking about. So that's the fundamental reason why I made the determination to support this measure. And obviously, I've been not only a strong supporter of D.C. statehood, but also a strong supporter of robust and significant criminal justice reform, including the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. So I've got a strong record on those issues. But at the same time, we're in this circumstance where we have to make a decision about the district, and it's a decision each senator has to make. But look, let's call this for what it really is: Republicans in the Senate playing games, trying to pretend that they're tough on crime, when we know that last December in an appropriations bill, 87% of congressional Republicans voted no on funding the COPS program, voted for zero money for the burn justice grants, voted for zero money for the Violence Against Women program. Republicans are the ones who are soft on holding dangerous criminals accountable, because 87% of them voted for zero funding for federal law enforcement funding. So let's call this for what it is: Republicans playing games and pretending.
Sounds to me like back the blue might just be a catchy phrase and not actual policy. Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Symone.